Good evening. On behalf of the League of Women Voters of Tacoma-Pierce County, welcome to this primary election candidate forum with candidates running for key Peninsula Metro Park Commissioner, positions 1 and 3. My name is Carla Larkins. I will be your moderator today. Also with us is Terry Baker, who will be the timer. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization that encourages the informed and active participation of citizens in government. Our mission is defending democracy and empowering voters. We hold candidate forums as a service to the public to provide voters with an opportunity to compare and contrast candidates before casting their votes. The League also influences public policy through education and advocacy. The League is open to any person age 16 and older who subscribes to the purpose and policies of the League and includes men as well as women. Before we begin the opening statements and questions, I will give the land acknowledgement. The League of Women Voters of Tacoma-Pierce County wishes to acknowledge that we gather on the ancestral lands of the Coast Salish peoples, surrounded by their traditional waters in the shadow of Mount Tahoma. We actively seek inclusive and respectful partnerships that honor Indigenous cultures, histories, identities, and current realities. The candidates for Key Peninsula Metro Park Commissioner, position 1, in ballot order are Linda Perry and John Pat Kelly. And for position 3 are Mark Bichelle and Bruce Cook. Before we begin, the candidates have been given ground rules in advance, which include, among other provisions, that they will adhere to the rules of common courtesy and will not comment on the other candidates, but will focus on the issues, and that there will be no additional recordings made of this forum. Could you please confirm with thumbs up or nod that each of you has agreed to our ground rules? As a reminder, please keep your microphone muted when it's not your turn to speak. For the audience, if you have questions for the candidates, you may text them to 253-948-6029. That's 253-948-6029. Questions must be directed to all candidates and may be consolidated or reworded. Candidates will be timed as they answer and may finish short sentences once the timer stops, but may not continue to speak after that. All candidates will be asked the same questions and have the same amount of time to answer. And we have shown the timer as we could. So let's go ahead and start. Again, the candidates for Key Peninsula Metro Park Commissioner, position 1 in ballot order are Linda Perry and John Pat Kelly. And for position 3 are Mark Bichelle and Bruce Cook. Each candidate will give an opening statement of up to 2 minutes. At the end, the candidates will give closing statements of up to 1 minute. So if you're ready, we'll start with Linda Perry to give your opening statement.
Very good. Thank you so much for putting this on and hosting us. It's a very great opportunity, and I'm honored to be here. My name's Linda Perry, and as Carla just stated, I'm running for re-election as your Key Pen Parks Commissioner for a Key Pen Parks Commissioner for the last 6 years. I currently serve as the President of the Board of Commissioners and as a member of the HR and Trails Committees. And I am committed to keeping our parks safe, clean, and accessible for everyone in the community, from young families to seniors, to athletes, to nature lovers, and beyond. Our green spaces are not just land, they are where our community happens. And I'm proud of our Key Peninsula parks. I use our parks by walking, biking, riding horses, gathering with friends and family there. So I know firsthand how vital they are to our community. With your support, we can continue to improve these wonderful parks and ensure that everyone on the Key Peninsula has a place to relax and play and thrive. And I encourage us to do it together. Again, thank you.
Thank you. John Kelly, your opening statement, please.
Mr. Kelly, you're muted.
John, are
You've
you
been
able to come off?
muted.
Okay, thank you. John Kelly, I'm a 20-year resident of the Key Peninsula. I'm active in the Lions Club. I've run a political discussion group since 2015 out here in the KP. We've had all kinds of candidates doing what you folks do. It's a real important service. I was elected to the KP Parks Board in 2013 and I served until 2019. Uh, During my time on the board, we developed Gateway Park. And I accomplished my goal of bringing a playground to the north end of the KP, and as well as a splash pad. Um, I was elected fire commissioner in 2024. Excuse me, in November 2023. I apologize. Uh, and I've been focusing on financial responsibility, transparency, and accountability at the fire department, and we're really making great strides there. So I would take that same mentality to the Parks Board because I think we really need to provide more diverse recreation opportunities than we are now. Uh, we really desperately need a basketball court here in the north end of the KP. Pickleball is the most fastest growing sport in the country, and the parks itself has no pickleball courts. There's things that we could do to support anglers during fishing season at our Minter Creek estuary property, like uh, putting in a porta potty. Um, and long term, I want to look at a marine education facility at Taylor Bay and some indoor meeting facilities for the Parks District. Um, and overall, more programs, more recreational opportunities for kids and seniors. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark Michelle, your opening statement.
Thank you. Thanks to the League of Women Voters, Carla, Noel, Cynthia, and Terry, the timekeeper. My name is Mark Michelle. I've been a commissioner since 2011. A little bit of a bio on me. I just wrote down some of the jobs I've done. I've been a paper boy. I scooped ice cream at Baskin Robbins, worked in retail, carpenter, football coach, joined the Air Force back in 1987. Flew in the Air Force until 1997, excuse me. Got hired by Alaska in 1997. Married my wife in 1990, and became PTA president after we moved here, and our daughter attended the local Evergreen elementary school. One of the things that I noticed while I was the president of the PTA was kind of the south end of the peninsula seems to be a little bit underserved. That inspired me to go to Key Penn Parks to apply for a grant for additional playground equipment for Evergreen. I was unsuccessful in obtaining the grant, but what it did do was got me involved in the parks. I ran for, interviewed, and got selected to fill a vacant position, and then have been reelected into that. I've been the president of the board several times. One of the things was in response to a 2013 survey that listed 90% of the respondents wanted more trails. I formed the Trails Committee, and we built about 20 miles worth of additional trails. I've been actively involved with the Red Barn program out here, as well as the Washington Student Cycling League. And I look forward to the questions that you guys have for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Bruce Cook, your opening statement.
Thank you. Um, I it's a great honor to be here with the League of Women Voters candidate forum tonight. I'm a candidate for position 3, and I have a lengthy background in business and finance and in volunteer uh, uh, service and leadership of governance of boards of directors. So I've served on at least 20 to 25 different corporate boards and nonprofit volunteer nonprofit boards during my career, and have helped invest and manage the endowment for the University of Texas system, which is fairly large. And We managed about $1 billion a year just in investments from our group, private equity group, of a much larger endowment, and uh, have very active in our community, serve in a local church nonprofit, and am involved in prayer ministry, worship team, and different things. But I also am on the finance committee there, and we financed our current property. I've also written several books, about 10, and help counsel people to prevent suicides. So I counsel young people, families, and am very interested in the youth and the future of our Key Peninsula.
Thank you. So now we'll start with our questions. And since Linda Perry gave the opening statement, we'll begin with John Kelly. Each candidate will have 60 seconds to respond, and we'll rotate with the candidate speaking first on each question. So my first question for John Kelly is, in your opinion, what are the top priorities for the commissioner role in the next few years?
Well, the top commissioner role is always financial responsibility. And, the board has been doing a really good job on that, and they did a great job when I was there. But beyond that, a commissioner needs to be sure that the district is serving as many recreational needs as possible for as many people as possible. And I think to do that, you really need to be well connected with the community and hear what the community wants, be willing to talk and exchange with the community. And, it doesn't hurt to have a more diverse group than we have right now on the board. And that's what I intend to bring to the table.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark Michelle, what are the top priorities for the commissioner?
Oh, thank you. Well, I've long said that successful parks have people in them. I agree with John that the top priority for a commissioner is to ensure that we're being prudent with the taxpayers' money, so financial oversight, but also community outreach and engagement. So trying to get as many people aware of the amenities that we have and using the amenities as we have. And then I've always perceived that, and I'll probably say it again, but I feel like I've been blessed to have a really decent life, and I feel capable of giving back to the community. So again, that helps as far as bringing in community outreach, and trying to get as many people in the parks as possible. And I think that's about it. Those are the job obligations that I feel as a commissioner.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Bruce Cook, your opinion about top priorities.
Thank you. I believe the top priorities of any of a parks commissioner, as well as other nonprofit trustees or directors, would be to fiduciary responsibility, to oversee the resources, which would include the finances, the budget and budget planning, but also the staff as well. So personnel oversight, and having a good executive director, competent executive director on the staff, and that they're doing their job, and that they have good people working for them to administrate the park services. would certainly be important, and also uh, getting as much out of the resources financially that you have as well. So those, I think, are the most important aspects.
Thank you. Linda Perry?
Yes, thanks for the question. As a Parks Commissioner, our number one priority or job is to help set policy of the parks. And that basically the policy, sorry, my Zoom keeps cutting in and out. The policy is strongly linked to financial responsibility, helping to set the budget, to be sure that the budget is appropriate for using our taxpayers' funds wisely, to provide the services and amenities that the local citizens will utilize what they want and what they'll utilize. So those are basically the main things that a parks commissioner is tasked with doing. But we also are there to.
15 seconds.
Sorry, is my phone cutting out?
No.
Oh.
You have 10 seconds.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and then to support and to facilitate good staff in able to facilitate those objectives.
Great.
Thank
Thank you. So the next question is, we'll start with Mark Michelle. So what are your ideas to maintain and for long-term maintenance and development projects?
Well, that's an excellent question. I did, as we were all talking, I did remember something else that I wanted to bring up as far as our jobs as commissioners, and that one of the obligations also is stewardship. Our motto became preserve, protect, and play, and I think that there's a balance between getting people an active utilization of the parks and preserving the land around us and being active stewards of the land. As far as ideas to maintain or increase funding, we've been incredibly aggressive about pursuing grants in the past. A lot of our facilities and our land have actually been subsidized at least halfway, if not 75% way, through grants that have been obtained through other organizations. And I think a continued aggressiveness to pursue the grants that are best suited for the acquisitions or redevelopments are probably the best way to stretch our constituents' dollars.
Thank you. Bruce Cook, what are your ideas for maintaining and increasing funding?
Well, I have a lot of ideas, Sue. I can't cover them all in 1 minute. I'll give it a shot with a few of them, but um, I've been very active in helping raise capital for private companies as an advisor, and working with boards of directors, working with CEOs. I believe that large corporations like Weyerhaeuser and the families associated with those groups and their foundations or family foundations, also places like the Sierra Club, like land, uh, uh, preservation organizations that want to help buy large blocks of land and preserve it and allow use on a certain percentage of that property. Those can be very extremely good partnerships. So I think there are a lot of partnerships available that we need to tap into.
Thank you. Linda? Same question.
Yes, thanks for the question. I agree 100% with Mark's answer. We as a district have done a great job in grant money, which has been well deserved. For example, we just have had a really good partnership with the Great Peninsula Conservancy to purchase some land, and we continue to pursue those grants. We also use our money wisely. We know that the money is hard earned by our local citizens, and we listen to people, and we want to provide the services that they want and will use.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And John Kelly?
Well, there's really only two ways to getting any kind of sizable money for the budget for parks, and that's uh, through taxes and, as the others discussed, grants. Um, if we have a big plan down the road, we always have the opportunity to go out and try to pass a bond issue. But the climate is really not amenable to any kind of new taxes right now out here. So, I think Linda's right. Using the money the best you can, it goes a long ways with the folks. And we have had luck both in the Parks Department and in the Fire Department in getting some pretty important grants. So I think that, double down the effort on that and keep being frugal and making the best of the taxpayers' money.
Thank you. So the next question will start with Bruce, Bruce Cook. So what will you do to improve transparency and public engagement in the budgeting process?
That's a great question. I believe that the board could have maybe a public forum to solicit input from the public, from the citizenry and residents here of the Keep in the budgeting process to see what their priorities are. And again, I think this goes back to master planning. Uh, Part of my vision is to have trails that connect, and so you have a longer, not just not just a large group of trails, but you have interconnected trails where people can take longer bike rides, longer hikes, and connected hikes. Where you have trails that are connecting. So yeah, I think public forums and emails to the local citizenry, newspaper ads. There are many ways you can communicate.
Thank you. Linda Perry?
We do a lot of public outreach. In fact, last night we had a board meeting that had that basically we had our budget presentation, and it was an open public meeting, and we were soliciting input from the community. That is going to happen again at the next meeting regarding our budget. Our budget is a really big deal, and it's really well planned out and real well thought out and well, basically we invite a lot of public comment on that. So we invite all the public to please read it, chime in, tell us if we're focused on what you want, and we plan to continue that and keep it open and keep inviting the public to communicate with us on their wants and needs, and also to just keep being fiscally responsible with the public's money.
Thank you.
Mhm.
John Kelly, how will you improve transparency and public engagement?
Well, those have been two of the biggest issues I've been dealing with at the fire department because we purchased some land without really going and getting the temperature of the community, and it cost us a lot of faith in the community. And what we've been doing, we do a really good job with social media. Our PIO makes sure that she has a growing number of people looking at our social media, getting the message out. We also do the town halls quarterly, and that's a great time because we don't allow questions during the meeting. So town halls you can. One of the things I did as a parks commissioner was to put an end to the secret commissioner meetings that were closed to the public. Even though it was only two, so it wasn't a violation of OPMA, it's still the public wants to be informed, and I've really been working hard on that.
Okay, thank you. Mark Michelle?
Well, in addition, Linda brought up that we had a public hearing on the budget for 2026 yesterday. Prior to that, we're developing a new comprehensive facilities plan. And so we had a survey done last year, beginning of this year. And one of the things that was reassuring to me was satisfaction with KP Parks was very, very high. So that's great. The problem with that is it actually makes us victims of our own success. We get fewer people who feel compelled to pay attention to the budgeting process and stuff. So we had our budget hearing last night, and not that many people showed up. But Linda, I believe, was actually astute enough to see that and say, I think we need to advertise this more for the budget, for the next budget hearing. So we do everything that we can to advertise these budget hearings to try to get as much public input as possible. And I just want to make sure that we're spending every dollar like it's coming out of our own wallets.
Thank you. So the next question, we'll start with Linda Perry. How will you address climate resilience in future park infrastructure projects?
Boy, that's a tough one and a very, very important topic. Climate resilience is near and dear to my heart because I love the outdoors. I'm passionate about our parks and our open spaces and our beautiful Northwest. We just need to be mindful in everything that we do as far as the development of the parks and considering long-term impacts of potential climate changes. But we need to just maintain and preserve open spaces as much as we can. They're so vital to the community, to the community members and children especially to have these open spaces to be able to get out and get away from their screens and enjoy nature. And I think that most of what we do has climate resilience in mind. Of course, if we're building a new restroom facility, that has to be built. But times. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. John Kelly, how will you address climate resilience in future projects?
Well, I think we need to pay special attention to our creeks. We have a couple of creeks running through some of our parks, and our properties that are on the sound. So we really need to focus on being a great environmental steward of those. And just encouraging the open green spaces like we have at Gateway Park. I would really like to be able to solve the climate change problem myself, and even with the board, no matter how good the board is, I think we can only really control what's in front of us. So if everybody was able to do that, maybe we could get a handle on it, but we can only do our part.
Thank you. Mark Michelle?
Yeah, it's an outstanding question and a deep thinking one. I would say that climate resilience to me would break down into at least two things. One would be minimizing our impact, and two would be protecting our infrastructure against future climate dramatic events. So when we look at trying to minimize our impact, I look at things like developing trails that respect creek crossing buffers and setbacks. We install catch basins. We actually have a turf parking area, so it catches the water and keeps it from just flowing off of a asphalt parking lot into the creeks. We also had given a grant to the Civic Center when we paid for them to develop a play or rebuild a play structure. They put in a pavilion there, and we paid for solar panels to be put on top of it with an interpretive display of how much power that was generating. So, I mean, it's open-ended, but I think that we're doing what we can, and I'll continue to push for more for climate preservation.
Thank you. Bruce Cook?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind on climate resiliency is certainly the power of trees. Lots of poems have been written about trees. Trees generate a lot of oxygen, and they're just great for the environment. And they absorb also some of the emissions and things from pollutants. So, make sure our trees are healthy in the parks. Prune dead trees and trees that are weak or diseased or in danger of falling over, falling on someone or whatever. But yeah, just maintain safe walking trails and maintain the health of the trees that we have as much as possible. I think also building some indoor facilities would be very helpful as well for education.
Thank you. We will start with John Kelly for the next question. How will you ensure that all residents, especially those in underserved areas, have access to the parks and recreational programs?
Well, that's a great question because one of the biggest problems out here in the Key Peninsula is transportation. So if a person doesn't drive or have somebody to drive them, it's really hard to utilize our parks. I'm just a few blocks away from Gateway Park, but we can't really trust our kids on the highway because it's the traffic, the speed is so high and the such a small shoulder. Um, but we really do need to improve facilities in each neighborhood. For example, we need a playground at the far south end of the peninsula. Now that we have one in the far north end, we have a couple in the middle, delivering those services to the neighborhoods.
Thank you. Mark Michelle?
Thank you. Bruce brought up a good point on that last question, and that was keeping trees. So going back to preservation and climate resilience, one of the things that we push for is to actually obtain ownership of the 360-acre parcel that's 360 trails on a trust land transfer from Department of Natural Resources. And that would ensure that it couldn't be logged. And so that would be another way to preserve the climate resiliency. As far as all residents access, I agree. And that was one of the things that I learned as PTA president down at Evergreen. We've reached out to the Red Barn. I frequently host, probably 3 times a year, host rides where we bring students from the Red Barn to the park to ride bikes. And those are successful. We also offer grants for programs and events that we do, and we have some free events for the community, understanding that the underprivileged might not be able to accept or pay for the price of entry for a league or something like that. So those are ways that we try to reach out to the underserved.
Thank you. Bruce Cook?
Would you repeat the question, please?
How will you ensure that all residents, especially those in underserved areas, have access to the parks and recreational programs?
It's a great question. Well, part of it is transportation, making sure, that transportation to the park, that the parks are accessible.
Yep. There
Sorry,
you go.
it muted it. So that the hours of operation would be lend themselves to the population being served. In this case, the disadvantaged youth and probably senior citizens, things like that, that may have more difficulty accessing the facilities of the parks than maybe adults or that are in the prime of their lives. So I like what some of the things that Mark shared. Partnering with Red Barn is obviously great. There are other organizations like that, the high schools that we can partner with, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, different things. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda Perry? Linda, are you still there? No? Did we lose her? Oh. Okay. So let's
She's
go
not in the
on.
participants. Yeah.
Do you want me to close out then?
I think you should keep going.
Okay. So next question will be for Mark, Michelle. Um, what partnerships do you envision with schools, nonprofits, or local organizations to expand youth programming?
Again, I'll get to that in a second. The last question we talked about underserved, and I did talk primarily about youth, but it brings up a great question, and Bruce talked about it as far as improving access for also people all along the age spectrum. So partnering with the mustard seed, which flows into this question, um, reaching out to the mustard seed would be great. I touched a little bit on the Red Barn, and that was one where we get kids, underserved kids who don't have the capacity or bikes or ride very often. We get bikes that they can ride. We get helmets that they can use. We get transportation to the park. And so that's been wildly successful. I've been a coach with the Washington Student Cycling League for several years now, and watched that team of local kids grow from just a couple to we had over 30 kids ride this past weekend, and they'll be competing statewide. So there are more organizations and more people who've kind of become relatively disenfranchised that I'd like to reach out
Thank
to
you.
too.
Bruce Cook. So what partnerships do you envision with schools, nonprofits, or local organizations to expand youth programming?
Great question. Well, obviously, we want to see full capacity with the facilities that we currently have, trails, the ballparks, and other things. But uh, I think we could partner with the Senior Citizen Center and maybe try to find some programming that would appeal to them or uh, fit the profile of their demographic and those they're serving to engage more with the parks. My part of my vision is to build a fund and build a educational center that would include things like the flora, the fauna, the wildlife, the marine life, so that we could have a year-round facility for school groups, for organizations to come and visit, because it does rain here 6 months out of the year. Thank you.
Thank you. John Kelly? Same question.
Out here in the Key Peninsula, we do a lot of partnerships with nonprofit organizations, and I've been pretty active in the Lions Club, but as well the KP Council, Backpack for Kids, Red Barn, Angel Guild, the community services. These are groups that the parks has worked with in the past and will continue to, and I'm really happy to be a person that kind of moves in between those groups and can get some interest going. I think the probably the area that we need to do better outreach for the parks is with the schools. And I think a good start would be and I think Mark would agree, being a former PTA president, attend one of the PTA meetings and let them know, hey, we're here. We want to work with you in this community.
Thank you. So I think we'll go to closing statements now. And we're going to go in reverse order from the opening statements. So Bruce Cook, will start with you, and each candidate will have 1 minute.
All right, thank you. It's been great to have this candidate forum here for the Keep In Parks. It's a very important part of the Key Peninsula. Have almost 20,000 residents there or more, and a large and growing population. And we want to, I would ask for your vote, and I would pledge to give you my best efforts and best abilities in this position to serve our community, to build on the strong foundation that Mark and Linda and others have laid, including John in his previous term, as well as others. So I think we have a really bright future ahead of us in the Keep In parks. And I would focus on raising more funds from private sources and increasing our funding base. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark Michelle?
Well, thank you. And thanks again to the League of Women Voters for sponsoring this. I would just say that it's humbling to see the responses from that survey that I'd mentioned earlier, and to see what I believe is success from the work that we put in. As I said earlier, successful parks have people in them. And so it's very successful to see the parks as utilized and appreciated and enjoyed as they are. I do want to relate one story, and that's well, hopefully I can squeeze in two. One of them was at the end of a hot race, this young woman finished up her bike race, finished just absolutely tapped out, beet red, sweaty all over, dusty, muddy. I thought she was done. She heard an announcer announce another student, and she stood up, ran back, and started yelling to encourage that student. And it was stories like that that really inspired me to continue to provide more of that for the other constituents and other park users. Just really super inspirational, and I wish that we could share that with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. So John Kelly?
I have some goals that I bring to the position, and one of them is Bruce mentioned indoor facilities. I have an idea, and I'm good at floating ideas. I'm sure a lot of people are good at shooting them down. But the fire department is looking to get rid of their headquarters building, and it would provide a lot of good office and meeting space and even maintenance space for the Parks District. So I kind of want to keep my foot in the door there to see if we can't maybe work a deal instead of seeing that become another convenience store. Uh, I really want to work on increasing the amount of recreational opportunities so that we get more people involved in the parks and more people involved in the community. Um, I came in 2013 with the goal of getting a playground for my daughter, and we did that. And I'm doing the great things in the fire department, and I know I can serve well once again on the Parks Board. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much to the candidates for participating in this forum and to the audience for watching. The candidates for Key Peninsula Metro Park Commissioner, Position 1 in ballot order are Linda Perry and John Pat Kelly, and for Position 3 are Mark Michelle and Bruce Cook. Ballots will be mailed on October 17th. Be sure to vote on or before November 4th. Before you vote, go to votewa.org. That's votewa.org to check your voter registration or to register if you are not yet registered. The site and Standard Voters Guide identify ballot issues and candidate information specific to your own voting precinct. Also, check the candidates' websites for more information. We encourage everyone to use these resources. You will find our other candidate forums and a link to the recording of this forum at our website, lwvtpc.org, elections/voting. That's lwvtpc.org. Select the option elections/voting on the main page. Thank you to the candidates, the timekeeper, and the Zoom moderator, and to you, our audience, for watching.